The Israeli public overwhelmingly does support this deal. In a poll of 500 Israelis, nearly 80% said they are in favour of it. Less than 20% are not, but they are evenly divided on whether the release of 1,000 Palestinian prisoners is going to be dangerous for Israeli security. Well, a short time ago, I spoke with an Israeli student and a Palestinian peace activist about this deal. I began by asking my Israeli guest, Nir Weintraub, whether he is in favour of it. This is what he said.
Yes, I'm definitely in favor.
Why?
Well, no doubt it's a difficult equation, but if you have to quantify it, then I would say that getting Gilad Schalit back and reinforcing the value that Israel puts on the lives of its soldiers trumps any possible reason why not to make the deal.
In the same poll, Aziz, Israelis were evenly divided on whether the release of these Palestinian prisoners was going to be dangerous for Israeli security. Some concern there. Your thoughts?
Well, the Palestinians have been mainly concerned about who's the ones coming out. Contrary to the Israelis, not every Palestinian in Israeli prisons are coming out from prison. There are thousands still in, and there's a lot of dissatisfaction among some Palestinians that certain people are not coming out in this deal and are staying in prison, especially those who have family in Israeli prisons are not happy that their loved ones are not coming out. But there aren't fears in the sense of Gilad Schalit being released. I think it's more about personal issues of having their family members being released from prison as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are viable causes for unrest concerning the release of the prisoners. I know that there's empirical evidence that terrorists released some resort to terror once again, so I think there's valid concerns on the Israeli side.
Nir, how does this prisoner swap move the peace process forward?
I wish I knew. Like every other Israeli, I also yearn for peace. One that can ensure our way of life and our security. But peace is the end goal, I think, for every Israeli.
Aziz, again, your response.
It's important because prisoners' release is a very important thing for Palestinians. One of the problems in Oslo was that many of the Palestinians were not released, even despite the peace process and the agreements that were made at that time. But another thing is the fact that Hamas and Israel were able to negotiate and come to an agreement. We hear over and over again that Israel cannot negotiate with Hamas, and this was proven not true, that if you want to negotiate with somebody, you negotiate with your enemy, and proven that it can happen and it can work, and they were able to come up with good results in this case.
And does it surprise you, Nir, that that actually had been happening, that Israel was talking to Hamas?
I wasn't surprised because they're the sovereign in Gaza. Of course, it's unfortunate that they are, if anybody read their platform, they know that they have some very shady ideas, to say the least, but I wasn't surprised that they negotiated with them.
For those who are watching this program tonight, Aziz, what is your message to them? Many viewers who've been watching with frustration the stalling of this peace process over so many years.
Well, I think it's time that this occupation ends. It's time that the conflict ends. As somebody, my brother was killed in Israeli jail out of torture, so I know what does it mean for people to have family members in jail, and I'm so happy to see many are able to leave the Israeli jails, and for Gilad Schalit also to be back to his home. I know his family, and I'm happy for them to have their son back. So I think it's not focusing on the negatives that we keep talking about, but really look for a sign of hope. And this is a sign of hope. This is a good thing that is happening. And I'm really looking forward to the day that this could lead to end of occupation, relationship between Palestine and Israel as neighbors and not as enemies, and not to have prisoners, Israeli prisoners in Palestinian prisons or Palestinian prisoners in Israeli prisons.
Are you equally as optimistic, Nir?
I'm very optimistic. I'm sure that at the end of the road, peace awaits. I'm not sure when and how, but I'm optimistic about the future.